The week Steve Earle got out of jail, he came and played my writer's night.
Why your writer's night? Why not somewhere else?
Because I worked with Custer and Logan, which was a great duo, and they were both in his band. So they were coming to play my writer's night, and they invited him. Brandy Carlisle. I ran the writer's night in London. Ed Sheeran played my writer's night a couple times. I was very, very picky. I used to have a saying that I would tell people, because I wanted the night to have an audience and not matter who was playing. So I said, if I book somebody who sucks, I'll buy you a beer. To the whole audience. So every week people would come just to see who was playing and not because of who was playing.
You were so humble. So it's interesting to hear that you were very picky, but that really was the smart way to go. There were so many people to pick from. But
If it was just an open mic that wasn't curated, especially in Nashville, you end up having people who are, you just can't listen to. No offense. I mean, I think everybody has to go, and there are open mics for those people. But this was something you had to be invited to play at. Came to Nashville for music. I graduated from Vanderbilt. I started running writers' nights, and I loved Nashville. I started at the Vanderbilt Days Inn, and that place was called Bogey's. Then I moved it to Wolfie's, which was downtown. And then I did it at Graham Central Station, Ireland's. It moved around. But most of the time, I'd say for a good 5 or 6 years, it was Wolfie's.
did I ever go to that writer's night?
You did play it a couple times, yeah. I ran 12th and Porter's open mic for a little while too, when Dan Tashian wasn't doing it. Daniel ran it most of the time, but he would take like 6-month breaks and not run it. He would get sick of it. And whenever he did that, I hosted it.
You know what my version of foreplay is? Brace yourself, darling. All right. This is Edwina Hayes. Put your hands together.
All the top writers were doing it. Dave Berg would play regularly, Georgia Middleman, Eric Schwartz, like I said, Brandy Carlisle. Gillian Welch played a bunch. Fred Wilhelm. Eric Halbig was my guitar player.
Run away from my reflection, smoking mirrors in both directions.
Tell me about the awards from the scene.
Towards the end of me being there, I won Best Local Songwriter 2 years in a row. My writer's night was winning Best Local Writer's Night, and my band was winning Best Local Band. And they've all gone on to play with all the country stars. Halbig, Jimmy Roller, Rick Altizer, who was my producer, became big in, he did like the Kids Bop records.
You got Best Songwriter. What did you get that for?
It was very funny because I wasn't writing hit songs for anybody. I was putting out my own album. And by then, Radio Lightning was playing. I had a song called Adventures of a Plastic Bag that was one of the top 50 songs that year at Radio Lightning. And because my writer's night had so many writers that heard my stuff a lot, I think I was getting votes from them. Beverly, my writer's night had a pretty good reputation, and so I think she came to it when it was getting some press, and I was getting some press, and I think she came to see it just because whoever was she was good at co-writing with people and knowing the who's and whens and wheres of Nashville, so she came to see it, and I had written a song called "Give a Damn."
Yeah.
And it was a very political song. It was very unlike Beverly Ross, but she heard me sing that song and just loved that song, and had me come over to her place, and she helped me rewrite it and made it a much better song, which amazed. You don't think, I knew what you knew of her back then. Lollipop is not exactly a magnum opus, But she was a brilliant songwriter, and she took a song that I had written that was kind of mediocre and made it something that I ended up putting on an album.
Cut the edge, cut the schools, cut the rules, let the mess get thicker. What will those eyes record?
Never charted, never done anything. It is still the biggest thing I've ever done. People are religious about it. It's on every playlist.